Additionally, it appeared that just before halftime, Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White were engaged in a furious argument. Rumor has it, guys, that Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White are exchanging words before the Atlanta Dream Games half. Come now to inform you that there is film of the altercation that has surfaced. But I'm very certain that it will be circulating somewhere that this alteration occurred in a few hours. On live television, Caitlin Clark lashes out against her instructor. Indeed, that did occur, and the whole basketball community is discussing it. What you haven't seen, though, is this. This was more than a little dispute. That was the tipping point. One that might completely destroy the Indiana Fever. Stephanie White and Caitlin Clark were having a furious conversation during the half. Caitlin Clark informed White that Harbies and Kelsey Mitchell don't pass, so we're in the street. It might be accurate. Caitlin visited a tire shoe store. For example, that is something I observed. It's in Caitlin's actual words when she didn't even glance when Natasha Harrell had the ball. She was essentially defending herself by walking back. Every time Nash got the ball, she practically stepped back on defense. And you'll discover it's even worse than anyone anticipated once you hear what actually happened before that point. It's not good for the Indiana Fever. Behind the scenes, there's mayhem. But on the surface, it appears to be a struggling team, with youthful talent trying to sort things out. Look, it's obvious that Stephanie White and Caitlin Clark respect and enjoy each other. However, that doesn't mean they always agree, and I'm starting to get the feeling that there's a difference between their perspectives on the game and how they believe the Indiana Fever should play. Simply listening to what they have to say allows you to make some connections. In the middle of everything, Caitlin Clark, the most well-known figure in women's basketball, the person that all fans come to see, the one that is setting records, packing arenas, and reportedly at odds with her own coach. And pay attention. This Caitlin Clark versus Stephanie White dispute has the potential to quickly become ugly. I must be honest with all of you. You all. Caitlin Clark wants to play one way, but Stephanie White wants to play the complete opposite. Yesterday's victory for the Indiana Fever was a tale of two halves. The Indiana Fever played ugly puke basketball in the first half, in the style of Komoot, and the style of Stephanie White. During the first half, the basketball team puked. Caitlin Clark gave it her all, pedaled to the limit, and ran in the second half despite making shots. She was accelerating the pace while running non-stop. What did we do then? We're going to score about 100 points. We'll score 99. Additionally, I've heard rumors of an altercation that occurred in the tunnel or around halftime. Additionally, if it did occur, I'm happy it did, and it should continue. Additionally, Caitlin Clark must keep putting her foot on this as her team. Thus, it's their neck. Yes, exactly. A furious altercation between Clark and Stephanie White, the head coach of the Fever, was captured on tape during halftime and is currently going viral, according to many accounts. According to sources, Clark was enraged and fed up with teammates who would not pass. She informed the coach that she had the ball. It was only a question of time, dude, that Caitlin Clark would undoubtedly speak with Stephanie White. We observed that Caitlin Clark is unable to get into rhythm and that she has been running this motion offense. Many people believing Caitlin Clark was injured. I don't think she's in pain. Caitlin Clark, in my opinion, is unable to just get into rhythm. She hasn't been shooting well because of this. And I was among the first to warn you that this was going to occur. Caitlin Clark's return was announced around a week ago. We will see the same Caitlin Clark that we saw just prior to injury if nothing changes. Witnesses claim that she even instructed White to sit some players, particularly veterans Natasha Howard and Kelsey Mitchell, who looked Clark off in the middle of possession several times. It wasn't subtle either. So let's watch this video clip. People are getting tired of hearing about Caitlin and body language. They are discussing how using the ball is only selfish. Let's simply take a look. She then throws it down. Here, keep an eye on Caitlin's shoulders. She's kind of saying. Then, when Howard leaves for work and misses the layup, she starts to tie her shoes. Oh my gosh, man. Currently, tying your shoes is some way Bill. I've seen it now. In the past, I've witnessed players taking a moment to tie their shoes if they are out of the play and no, they won't get the ball or something similar. However, yes. There was a lot of body language from Clark. She laced her shoes during active plays, stepped back on defense, and avoided looking at specific teammates who had the ball. This was more than just annoyance. Demonstration was silent. Just a second said it all. The third quarter has over. The ball belongs to Natasha Howard. Caitlin Clark has a lot to say. Howard dismisses her once more and dashes into traffic, squanders the whole possession. Additionally, in case you missed Natasha and Howard to close out the third quarter. Howard looked off Caitlin Clark. She made a really stupid move at the end of the third quarter by looking off Caitlin Clark. I want to apologize one more for the size. Regarding the size of these clips, I sincerely apologize. I will be subject to copyright claims if I enlarge the clips more. They will receive copyright claims, which is why I'm not breaking out why people aren't doing it. Natasha looks off Caitlin Clark to flee to nowhere, in case you missed it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and roughly 5 actions. With 3 seconds remaining, he executes the chase slide and gets it to Caitlin Clark, forcing her to take a difficult step back. Howard even blocked Clark, her own teammate, at the rim a few seconds later. Let me reiterate that. Own teammate was blocked. Basketball isn't that. It's disrespectful. So where was Stephanie White, the coach? Not at all. Quiet, allowing it to occur. In actuality, this has been intensifying for weeks due to the 2 distinct offenses are being prosecuted by Fever on the same court. Caitlin Clark's system is one of them. Modern, quick-paced, selfless, and based on IQ and ball movement. Something must be clear to you, Stephanie White. You had the option to stay in Connecticut. Kane Clark did not join your program in Connecticut. You arrived at her location. Natasha Howard arrived at her location. She didn't go hang out with you guys. Therefore, don't attempt to visit here and try to make her fit in with what you guys do by taking away what she does well. Fans have voiced their opinions. This conflict between Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White has the potential to go really ugly. And let's actually see which direction you believe the corporation will take. You must keep in mind, Amber, Cox and Kelly Crossoff, who are out here attempting to sell the Indiana Fever to Appleman. Kate Chappell, you guys aren't a goddamn app. You guys don't even use Boost Mobile. You understand this franchise didn't create the playoffs for more than a decade before Caitlin Clark made it? You are aware that Kelsey Mitchell was winning roughly 6 games a year while playing professionally. Every year, she was winning about 6 games. It's not an apple. It's not an apple. I adore Caitlin Clark. Hero ball. A strategy that depends on contested mid-range shots and mayhem is played by the other ISO, but it isn't functioning. In a recent game, everything clicked for the Fever. During the second half, Clark took over. She found open teammates, made elite-level readings, and continued to push the tempo despite her shot not falling. A 4-point lead turned into a 17-point rout in just 6 minutes. The group appeared to be unstoppable. Was hardly a stroke of luck. Caitlin Clark was that person. Coach White, however, continues to strive to strike a balance between the two systems rather than committing to that approach. Clark's outburst occurred little under 6.5 minutes into the game. She gets clearly stimulated in a typical way, rising, and she simply begins to act as though a switch has just been flipped. She simply began attacking, driving into the lane, shooting strong shots, being fouled, and getting rejected. Doesn't matter, she's accelerating, she's in your face. She is becoming hostile, and that's opponing up the rest of it. She also had some nice open looks, even though her shot wasn't falling tonight. The team's cohesiveness is also being destroyed. Caitlin Clark isn't the issue. Let's face it, this team is held together only by her. Stu's doing. As teammates move around, hold the ball, and block her, she does everything she can, including passing, guarding, and grabbing rebounds. And it's culture, not simply effort. Kelsey Mitchell, for example. She ran off the ball, made herself open, and attacked the rim last season. She's walking it this season. No hurry, no cuts, no spacing. And it's no accident. It's a statement. Stat padding is more important to some of these athletes than winning. Additionally, the coaching staff is too scared to take sides. Clark, however, chose one. Drama is not her thing. She is not here to be a friend to everyone. Her goal is to succeed. Furthermore, she wasn't lashing out when she yelled at Stephanie White, since Clark is aware of what victory looks like. She was calling for accountability. Her entire life, she has done it. Furthermore, this system will not function. The narrative wasn't about that sideline commotion, it wastes sin. This squad is disintegrating behind the scenes. Spofi, Cunningham, and other players understand. They flee. They are separated. They have faith in Clark to take the lead. Sophie Cunningham was also involved in that, most significantly. Sophie Cunningham finished the game with a double-double of 16 points, 10 rebounds, and a .445 three-point shooting percentage. She had a block shot as well. She was therefore everywhere on the floor. She was making a significant contribution by grabbing a number of rebounds, including 2 offensive ones. Hall hasn't been as good with that set three-point shooter, and other players, like Clark, haven't been as successful with it on a regular basis. In order for us to match the Atlanta Dream, who were, dominating, we need another player who can kind of pick up the slack and start to rein in those threes on three-pointers. Ryan Howard and Jordan Canada alone must have had 10. In my opinion, we therefore sought someone who could equal it. Sophie was the player who garnered the most attention from the crowd tonight. Thus, enormous influence from Sophie this evening. The remarks about how angry people were about the last game actually came to pass here. Others, however, are mired in the past, unwilling to change, unwilling to go without the ball, and unwilling to take Caitlin's example. Thus, Indiana must now make a choice. Either they continue to balance egos, forego synergy, and waste one of the best basketball minds this game has ever seen, or they build around Caitlin Clark, because Caitlin is a system, not just a scorer. The Fever win while she is in charge. When they disregard her, mayhem ensues. The statistics show that. It is evident in the way the game progresses. You may now watch it live on television. That disagreement, that viral moment that came about, as a result of months of dysfunction, at last, Clark had had enough. She is immature, which is why she didn't blow up. No one else would say it out, so she blew up. This group is dysfunctional. The system isn't working properly, and it has to be fixed from here. Whither does the Fever go? They support their celebrity if they are astute. They hand the reins over to her. Since Caitlin Clark isn't the issue, they let her take the lead. She is the answer. If you are biking with Clark, leave a 100% in the comments. The Fever may be in danger, so if you've had enough of the drama, hit the like button and subscribe for more breakdowns like this one. However, Caitlin Clark is just beginning to begin.